Hello everyone, my name is Mark and I'm the Chief Executive and one of the co-founders of Atom Bank, and I am delighted to join you on this year graduation day. I am of course recording this a few days in advance, but that's the nature of the world we're living in. On the other hand, I'm doing it from the room in which we actually founded the bank that I now run. I have a great privilege of running it, in 2014, in April of 2014. So that's getting on for 7 years ago, which is frankly a lifetime in fintech, let's be honest. I want to spend a little bit of time talking to you about Atom, tell you something about the business that we've built, but probably more importantly, to give you a bit of a description of how I got here, what keeps me going right now, and what I think the future holds for us. So firstly, Atom. Atom's based in Durham, and we are both the biggest and the smallest bank in Durham simultaneously and at the same time. We're very proud of that. We employ about 430 people. We are predominantly a lending and savings bank, so we offer residential mortgage loans and we offer SME loans. And we also offer consumer deposits, so fixed rate savings, instant access savings, mostly done via apps. We've got a very modern technology stack. It's running in GCP, Google's cloud platform, down to a core of, if you like, cloud native banking software provided by Thought Machine. We have our own engineering team. We employ about 150 people in change in technology, and we architect and engineer from the top to the bottom of the stack. So, it's a pretty sophisticated, I guess, engineering community in Atom. But we also work with partners, literally hundreds of partners, including Accenture as it happens, both to build and run the platform that we use to provide our services. And then that sits within a bank. And so it truly is a fintech. It's very largely, if you like, designed and led from a mechanistic or customer experience point of view by the technology team. But we also have got a very sophisticated finance and treasury team. We've completed 3 securitizations, getting on for £2 billion a loan securitized. We run maturity transformation across a £2.4 billion savings book. We're just getting on to £1 billion of residential mortgages on balance sheet. We've got another 2.4 off. We'll probably getting on for 700 to 800 million pounds of SME loans in the current financial year, which ends at the 31st of March. So, there's a lot going on in this business in the sense that it truly is a proper bank, albeit really, really small in the context of banking, where frankly $1 billion is nothing, let's be honest. But it's also a substantial technology company. It's an expensive beast, so it costs us over 40 million quid a year to run it, which, trust me, keeps me awake at night. And we're not profitable yet. We are looking to stop burning equity capital sometime around August this year, and we'll get to break even, we think, in February next year, maybe a little sooner, depending upon economic outlook and provision levels. So we're kind of within touching distance, but it's been quite a long journey to get here. We've, if you like, taken some detours along the way. But we truly believe in our business, and we believe in the basic philosophy that got us here. So why did we build what we built? Well, we built Atom because we believe that there's an opportunity right smack in the heart of UK banking. And that opportunity arises from 2 things, one of which is big banks, some of whom might be in the room, are a bit variable in terms of how well they serve their customers. And you can see that in their Trustpilot ratings, and you can see it in their Net Promoter scores. At the same time, they're also quite expensive to run. So if you think ours is an expensive business to run, it's really, really tiny compared to the cost efficiency ratios of some of the big banks. And they're struggling to overcome some of their legacy technology issues, their legacy distribution issues. And generally, we think you can do an awful lot better. And so that's ultimately how we translate our vision into a value proposition. We want to be faster, we want to be easier, and we want to be cheaper. Because at the end of the day, it's money. And the value of the money, therefore, can be passed on directly to the customer. And that's why we try and do things as inexpensively as we can. So there's a real grit and focus and discipline to Atom. We love the technology, we love what we do, but it's really got a focal point. It's got a means to an end, if you like, raison d'etre in our business. And it works, right? We've got very high NPS scores, so it ranges between 74 and 86, I think is the highest we've achieved. We've got very strong employee engagement. Our App Store ratings are above 4.5. Our review ratings typically above 9. So in terms of customer experience, we do well. We've always got room for improvement. And then in terms of revenue and profit growth, we're on track, as I said, to break even. And we think we can get to a cost efficiency ratio of somewhere about 20%, maybe even dip below it. And a cost asset ratio that frankly is about 30 to 35 basis points. And that's very, very competitive when you compare, if you like, banks in general. I'm here because I left a great job. I left the job as Chief Executive Officer of First Direct, which for many people would have been a dream job. It's a fabulous brand. It's a great team. It's based in Leeds. And I had spent 30 years in banking by the time I got that job. And I loved every day of it, to be honest with you, right up until the point where the business cases that we had approved for investment in that business were overturned. And instead of just putting up with it, I decided to do something about it. And ironically, the action taken was to go build a different bank, go build a new one, which is not obvious. But oftentimes when you're pursuing a career, it's very easy to think that the place you are is somehow or the other more secure than the place you might go. And that's a myth, because the banking industry that I've grown up with since 1989, when I joined from university, I joined Midland Bank, has been in a resizing, shrinking, frankly, form ever since. It's been adapting to new technologies, it's been adapting to new behaviors, it's been shrinking its branch network, reducing its telephone contact center networks, and ultimately trying to rescale its business models all the years I've worked in it. So it's sort of delusional to think that you're in a safe haven, and you've always got to be looking at opportunities. It's been my experience that most entrepreneurs are angry about something. Something that they didn't get when they were young, or some wrong that happened, or some injustice that they really want to do something about. And two things happened to me, one of which is I got closer to 50, which is a bit scary. I'm frankly well past that now, but at the time, the prospect of not having tried something radical, of not having pushed myself, was scarier than the prospect of actually leaping. And so I became an entrepreneur at 45, right, which is not really what happens. Usually it's like teenager or 20-somethings. But if for all of you who may be thinking that it's not possible, it is. Yeah, at 45 you can still go and try something radical and new, as long as you know it can go horribly wrong. And there is a truth in that, right? So just because it hasn't gone horribly wrong yet, doesn't mean it can't. These businesses are very difficult to build. They're very, if you like, volatile, certainly in early stage. And you've got to be able to ride the ups and downs. It's like being strapped into a roller coaster. And it's great fun at times, but it's bloody scary at other times. And the thing is, you just can't get off. And that roller coaster is still running, actually, because we're still raising capital. It's still a very fast-changing world. We got our banking license on the day that Britain voted to leave the European Union. And one of our biggest investors is a big European bank. I mean, you couldn't make it up. We have built our business in a time of, unprecedented quantitative easing, which has blown margins to kingdom come in mortgage lending. And when we've seen the effects of ring fencing. We've built our business in the midst of COVID-19. I mean, it's like a Lemony Snicket series of unfortunate events. As I said, you just couldn't write this book. But we've got 430 people. We're a hugely engaged and motivated and excited bunch. We're massively optimistic, because if you can't bring optimism to a startup, a fintech, then I think you're going to find it a bit of a struggle. And we still think that we're nowhere near finished, that we haven't even begun to tap the potential of this business and this business model, that we're very passionate about where we built it. It would probably have been easier to have built it in London or the Southeast, and that the journey actually is as exciting, frankly, as the destination, because the destination's further apart or further away now than I think it was when we started this. We were naive and optimistic that somehow or the other in 3 years it'd all be built. 7 years and it's not all built. But then we're in an industry of dinosaurs. And I don't mean that word as pejoratively as it sounds. This is an industry where businesses live a long time. And in that context, a 7-year-old bank, and we've only had a banking license for 4 of those years, is just a minnow. So, a few final thoughts. I was very struck by the images from NASA, one of my favorite brands and one of my favorite companies in the whole planet, frankly, beamed live a few weeks ago, where the parachute for the new Mars lander opened. And apparently it was made in the UK. And of course it contained, I guess, an Easter egg, a message. And that message was "Dare Mighty Things," which I just think was an absolutely awesome idea. I commend it to you, not because building fintechs is necessarily easy or guaranteed to succeed, but that the whole process of building a team, of creating something from, literally the paper clip to whatever you happen to wherever you happen to get to, is probably the most energizing experience of any life or any career. So I hope you have a great day. I hope you've had a great experience, and I wish you the very, very best of good fortune in your future endeavors. And thank you for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.